Perez, the author of Our Cosmic Origin and The Secret Government Invisible Architects. And today is the 27th of July, 2024. We are on the positive ascending optimal timeline. And I'm excited because I have my two friends back, Onya and Mark, who are ambassadors of the Trintinians. And Onya and Mark, welcome. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Thank you, Ismael.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We're very grateful to be back again, and we're excited to be on the show tonight and sharing some new insights and information. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, my viewers are always down for new insights and information. I think that one thing we all have in common in this community is that we are all addicted to knowledge, wisdom, and information, and we just want to know it all. Would you agree?
Agreed.
Yeah, I concur, definitely.
Yeah, and it seems like we're all just learning every day so much more, right? Or remembering and becoming more aware every day, right?
Exactly. And you know, it's Anya, I like that you mentioned remembering, because technically that's what we're here to do. We're here to remember what we forgot. Would you agree? Like,
True.
right? Okay.
So I believe that, with frequency, as we rise in frequency, basically we're shedding away and we're releasing all these energies or frequencies, which translate into physical, mental, and emotional things that we don't like. We're releasing these things and we're becoming our true, authentic selves. And as we do, we are remembering, awakening up to our multidimensional selves and our multidimensional realities. Everything is happening right now. There really is no past or future. It's all right now.
Yes, good point. Sometimes in our three-dimensional level of reality, we seem to forget that it's all happening at the same time, and that technically the past and the future are technically one, and that there is no difference. And it's all happening now in the present moment. I am so glad you touched on that point. Now, you guys have been obviously busy, traveling, doing a lot of work. Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys been up to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So basically, other than all the events that we have been doing, including the being at Contact in the Desert and Conscious Life Expo this spring, we've been doing more so a lot of private groups for people. Private groups in the sense that we have taken it a step further with our crystals for the people to have the experience with the crystals, the Palonette crystals and the Trintinians. And as we're doing this, we're doing events of 10 to 20 people. We're doing, as we call, crystal blessings. And, maybe we can go a little bit into more of that for your audience again. And also,
may I say they're called Ascension bed gatherings?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the Ascension bed gatherings.
So to just recap for anybody who's in the audience that may be seeing us for the first time, I'd just like to recap a little bit before we get into what Ascension bed is and the crystals are. The short story of the long story is that Mark and I are healers, paranormal investigators. We're born intuitives. We have a plethora of gifts that we bring to our clients together, and we work together doing work with our clients. And approximately 2 years ago, we were doing paranormal investigation on a property called Blind Frog Ranch. There is a TV show. It's called Mystery of Blind Frog Ranch. It's featured on Discovery and Amazon. And we were asked by the owner, Duane Olinger, to do some paranormal investigation on the land. It was an incredible, beautiful, multidimensional experience. There are a couple of videos on our site if you want to look more at that. But again, the short story of it is that this is where it began, where we did that. And then we were asked to do paranormal investigation on his other properties. He's got one in Texas and one also in New Mexico. New Mexico is the Bigfoot Ranch. And that's a whole nother story. And then there's also Texas, and that's where these incredible crystals are found. And what these crystals are actually part of a ship that crashed a little over 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, a few thousand years ago. Again, time we were talking it's irrelevant, but it was a long time ago. The ship crashed, and upon impact, it crystallized. It mixed with the earth elements and it crystallized. The consciousness of this ship is alive in the crystal, and it's also connected to where it comes from, which is the planet Trintin. And on Trintin, there are these 9 to 12 foot tall crystalline light beings called Trintinians. And these beings are here to assist humanity and the earth with ascending in frequency and rising in frequency. And so what Mark and I noticed when we came in contact with these crystals is that our frequency was going up exponentially when we were on the land. We were shaking, we were vibrating, we were feeling so, I guess, giggly, high, happy, like just floating on clouds. And it was amazing. And basically one thing led to another, where we got together with the owner of the land and found a way to bring these to the public. And we've been doing it now for about 2 years, approximately, going to big events. And so that's where I'm catching up to where we're at now, for the people who aren't aware. And doing these events, one of the things we do at the events is we have something called an Ascension bed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ascension bed, I will let Mark take over with right there about the Ascension bed.
Okay.
And then the gatherings, yeah?
Definitely. So the Ascension bed, you need to understand the power of these crystals first off. So when we were introduced to them, Ismael, I don't remember if we mentioned this before or not, but these crystals had a frequency of 133,000 hertz. Okay, now that is a lot of energy for any sentient being to handle or hold or anything like that at all. Definitely could short circuit somebody's nervous systems, take them out, and in that sense where they wouldn't be able to function properly. And this was shown. And I'll just go into that story as well, just so people get a grasp of what I'm talking about here with frequencies. We spoke before about the map of consciousness with Dr. David Hawkins, how everything has a frequency. He was a psychiatrist in Sedona who attained enlightenment, and he wrote many books, 16 books, A Map of Consciousness, Power versus Force. And he put to scientific terms spirituality. Yeah, so this is probably backwards on your screen there, but that's simply what it looks like, right? So most of humanity on the map of consciousness, which goes from 0 to 1,000, is about 300 to 350 hertz. It's very interesting. We're familiar with crystals and stones, like rose quartz, for example, has a frequency of 500 hertz. Stone, which is a tektite, which is known for the stone of transformation, moldavite, which is found in Czechoslovakia, and that has a frequency of 722 hertz. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting whenever we meet people with the moldavite and we're doing our crystal blessings, which I'll explain a little bit more. We muscle test them and they hit 722 hertz. We go, oh, you must have a moldavite piece with you, and that's where they peak out at that high frequency. They can't go any higher. And so these crystals, again, when they first came to us, were 133,000 hertz. So that is way beyond the 1,000 hertz Christ consciousness, which is on the map of consciousness, right? So it's kind of like, wow, this is just insane. Where do we go from here? How do we handle these frequencies? And so when we met with Duane, he took us in Amarillo to his workshop, and he had a frequency device set up to a Tesla coil, which he was downloaded to create, and he hung a few of these Palonette crystals off of it for vibration and connection with the Trintinians through the crystals, right? Mm-hmm. And he had two copper diodes, so you would hold one in each hand, basically, and he'd run it through a frequency machine, and he would ramp it up. I believe he said he had a couple there for the first time when he did this, and he went up to 20,000 hertz with the lady, and she was nauseous and passing out, so we had to tone the machine down and shut it off. Mm-hmm. Her partner utilized the device, and he went up to, actually, Duane said, 72,000 hertz. Now that is a phenomenal amount compared to, as we know, 1,000 on the map of consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. And so he kind of faded in and out, Duane was saying, and when he asked this man, what was going on? What did you see or do, or what was happening? He says, Duane, you wouldn't believe it. There I was standing, what seemed to be a spaceship. There was these 9 to 12 feet tall beings standing around looking at me, and they're going, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here, right? So he went with such a high frequency to a multidimensional plane, a different frequency, on board the ship with the Trintinians. And so, when you hit that higher frequency, it's unimaginable for us to comprehend for most people. And so with 133,000 hertz, when we took these crystals home, the Trintinians were speaking to us, and they agreed that humanity wasn't ready for that. So they actually collectively and consciously dropped the frequency down to 10,000 hertz 3 years ago when we first took these into Sedona, where we started with these crystals, Sedona, Arizona. And so with the frequency at 10,000 hertz, that's a lot for any person to hang on to. And I know when we first came across the crystals, our senses were all over. We couldn't get balanced or grounded or anything. It was just too much frequency. And so with that, this is where we came into figuring out how are we going to have people, ordinary Joe person who's coming into the expos or the holistic events or crystal fairs or consciousness fairs or UFO fairs and so on, to understand what it is that these crystals are doing to them.
I'd like to share too that everything has a frequency, everything has a consciousness. The question is it awake, I guess, from our perspective? What level of consciousness, what level of awakening and awareness is it at? And the ship itself, when it was all in one piece, was a conscious living ship. And so it was basically an extension of the Trintinians. They would telepathically communicate with the ship. It's a living being ship. When they would get off and on the ship where they were traveling with it, they would go places and their frequency would shift and change to adjust to wherever they were at. So when they got back on the ship, the consciousness of the ship would clear them, recalibrate them, and get them to the same frequency of the ship so they can travel through these interdimensional timelines and space and etc., right? So the ship itself being conscious and connected with the Trintinians, even though it exploded and it became a part of the Earth consciousness. And when they tested this, they found many Earth elements in it, but the one element that they found that wasn't from here is called Palonette, which is where it gets its name. And Palonette is a metal that is used on the ships on the planet Trintin, Trintin. Now, we have found this out because Duane Olinger had a 9-year relationship with the Galactic Federation in the physical with General Jeremiah of the Galactic Federation. And this is what he talks about at his UFO conferences. Well, they tested it to find that out. Where I'm going with this is that the crystal is alive and conscious and aware, and is connected to the Trintinians. So when people are coming in contact with this, the high frequency is starting to shift the person, if you think about it in a logical matter. You're a certain frequency, it's a certain frequency, it starts to raise you up because it's so high. But the Trintinians are aware that you're in the presence of their crystal. It's like you're interacting directly with them. And so what they do, the Trintinians, is they work through the crystal, or the crystal itself works and scans your consciousness, your 8-dimensional bodies, and sees what's ready to be released. Now, Mark and I have discovered this ourselves through our own working with the crystal and the Trintinians, but over 2 years now, we have been seeing time and time again with getting feedback from people that people are having similar experiences. We're getting the same type of feedback that this is basically a consensus amongst people. And so what we did, one of the things we did is what Mark's explaining is that, yes, they lowered their frequency in the crystal so that we can interact with it and raise our frequency gently. But what Mark and I also discovered is that when you put more than one of these together, it multiplies in frequency.
Yeah. So it's a multiplier, basically, right?
Very interesting.
So you got 12,000 hertz and 12,000 hertz, okay? So the last time when we tested you, I know you're wearing yours today, which is a beautiful thing. And so when we tested you last time, they were at a frequency of 12,000 hertz. Now, just recently, and it would either be the day before we had this timeline shift or the day of, they rose again up to 15,000 hertz. Okay, so the collective consciousness of the Trintinians through the Palonette crystal are raising higher in frequency. Okay, And so this in tune is helping all living things on the planet. So when we talk about multipliers, so I've got 15,000 hertz now, and I've got 15,000 hertz in this one, and they of course come in all shapes and sizes. So I put them together. Now I've got 30,000 hertz. Okay, I add a third one. I've got 45,000 hertz. Okay, now we're going up higher and higher in frequency. And again, next one, I've got 60,000 hertz. So what we do is we take a whole grouping of these crystals, and I'll just have one right here behind me. We put it into a tray. And so in this tray, I've got 1,000,000 hertz of crystals from the Trintinians with their collective essence and wisdom in these crystals. And what, with our Ascension bed, we place this underneath a massage table, underneath your heart chakra, right? And we lay you down, we put crystals over your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your third eye, and one in each hand. And of course, we will muscle test the person who's on the bed before they get on the bed, and then 10 minutes afterwards to see how high up they go. And we're having some amazing stories from some of the people that are coming to our gatherings and doing these events with us. Some of them are explaining that they're seeing the Trintinians standing around them, the white beings, sending energy into them and working on them. Others are actually seeing and feeling the Trintinians merging into their body and helping them remove some different illnesses and pains and aches. We've got other ones that are actually merging with the people and connecting with their partner across town, and the partner feeling the experience of the healing going on and the connection between the two of them, right?
We have people that say they verbally hear them as well.
Right.
So people are having these experiences are beautiful, unique to the individual. They're hitting different sensations, physical, mental, emotional, etheric. They're just hitting them in different ways. But the feedback is anything from neutral to absolutely amazing, where they're laughing, they're crying, they're getting answers, solutions, things are happening on the bed. And so we're calling it the Ascension bed. And so these private gatherings we're doing basically is when an individual is interested, we will host it at their home, and they'll get friends and family together of 5 or more people, and we'll come in and we'll have a talk and demonstration, and then the people will get on the bed 10 minutes at a time. I just wanted to mention that when we were saying that 133,000 hertz is a lot of hertz, and it is, and it can be too much, and it can make a person's system short circuit. How this works, we haven't found out any information about. Yes, they multiply, but when a person is on the bed, it seems the general feedback is it's just what the person needs. Like they work with you gently. So yeah, there's a whole lot of hertz underneath the bed, and the crystals are working with you, but it seems to be what the person can handle. So this is a bit going beyond our conscious understanding, and we haven't had feedback yet of how do all these hertz not hurt somebody, for example, literally hurt somebody, but we haven't had any negative feedback or had anybody hurt by it.
We had some feedback from some people who are saying these beings are so soft and gentle and very subtle, and they're clearing out multi-dimensional karma and garbage out of our bodies while we're laying on the bed, opening ourselves up to higher and higher frequencies, because this is what's holding us down here in this lower density, is all this karma, all this garbage, all this that's piled up on our soul bodies, all the energy bodies that are keeping us here on this third density, so to speak, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, one thing we're also finding too is kind of fun is that when we do these Ascension bed gatherings, and I'd say maybe a few of the events too, the bigger events that we were doing, we've had people that come to these events, and occasionally they'll be like, the Trintinians were talking to me before I came here. I think it was them, and they'll explain. They're 9 to 12 foot tall. They're white with like almost no face. They're just, and their energy is pure, soft. We're getting the same feedback, and they'll say, they asked me to come. They have a message for me. They told me I was going to meet you. These are different things we're hearing from people. And then they'll get on the bed, they'll hold the crystal, they'll have an experience and connect even further, and they'll get that information that was coming for them. And then also, when people do get on the bed, sometimes they don't always take a crystal home with them. They'll still have experiences for the next 24 hours. We'll get feedback. Oh, I had dreams that night that were amazing. Or the next day I had an experience where I was interacting with them. And when people are wearing them on a daily basis, they're experiencing the Trintinians in their field as an extra guide.
Right.
And I'd say one of the number one feedback that we get is synchronizations happening. Beautiful synchronicities. It's like
Tenfold.
yeah, really a lot, like more so than the individual is already having. And so what that tells us is what we feel that is that the individual is getting on their higher timeline because your awareness is expanding and you're noticing the things that were actually already taking place, but now you're noticing them even more. Oh, look at this, this happened with this is happening with that. Yeah.
So, you've been wearing your crystal too for a while, so you must be noticing some interesting synchronicities going on in your world too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Due to the fact that all these new projects are coming my way, meeting, the right people at the right time, I think that synchronicity is definitely a big key. And I would say around the time that I started wearing the crystals. So, but do remember, guys, that I've been wearing this crystal on and off. I know I lost a couple of them for a few months now. But this one is hard to lose because of the way it is. It's I don't work out with. I learned my lesson. Don't work out with it. Don't power with it, and it'll last you forever. First one, I think I lost it. It broke. Second one, I lost it at the gym, and they say the third one is a charm. So the third one is here to. Right? But yeah, I definitely made some synchronicities ever since I started wearing these crystals. Now, the bed that you guys are talking to, I've had an opportunity to try it out at one of your booths months ago when you guys were here in Los Angeles area,
Right.
and I felt the difference. I felt like my body was teleported to a different realm. I can't really describe, but what it looked like. But all I know is that I felt like I was at home for just a few minutes while I was laying in the bed. So, have you guys had similar feedback regarding feeling at home, feeling like you've been, part of some sort of Galactic Federation meeting? What kind of feedback do you guys get when people explore lying in the bed?
Yes, so we have had people say that they feel a sense of home. They feel that the Trintinians could be their family, their soul family. That we had. I remember a couple individuals that they were male actually. They were like the Trintinians told me I was their brother. Sometimes some people will see them with a blue hue. I'll hear that occasionally too. I just wanted to mention that. I think you were one of those that said that there was blue beings around you as well. So we will hear sometimes blue. No other colors yet, no other rainbow colors, but it's white, pure, and sometimes a blue, hint of blue. There's been a couple people that do see eyes, but most people don't really see a face. Home, peace, tranquility. They go to a planet. They explain the field as energetic. Some people have noticed, one explained like pink skies, remember, with like a blue mountains,
Right.
but remember the sky they said was pink. It was like a light pink. What other experiences?
Yeah, so we've had, I'm recalling one gentleman who was laying on the bed, said that they took them on a trip to their planet through the canyons and looking at the canyons.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at some of the crystalline cities that were there too. He was explaining what they looked like and just the gentleness of this journey that he took. Not in physical body, but of course astral travel, right? And another gentleman who got on the bed was taken up to one of their spacecrafts and was greeted on a spacecraft. And then the second time he went up there, they actually put him in one of the captains or co-captains' chairs and were showing him how to fly the craft. And then the third time he went up there, he was so excited because he actually let him fly the craft when he was laying in that space on the Ascension bed doing this with the Trintinians.
I actually had this one intuitive girl. She was 7 years old, And she actually has a following on YouTube as well. She's very intuitive. She can connect with other beings very easily. But I didn't talk to her too long. In other words, she didn't know the storyline behind the crystals. She felt the energy, and she got on a chair. At that time, we had what we called the galactivation station. So the other way we did it was with a chair with crystals underneath the chair. And she sat on the chair, and her experience, in her words, was that she went to heaven. And she explained, instead of going up, she explained that she was going down. And she kept going down into another realm, into another realm, into another realm. And then finally she reached the realm, and the excitement in her eyes was that it was just beautiful. And there were like crystalline castles and buildings and beautiful beings everywhere. And she said it was just like heaven. And when she was on the chair, she was holding the crystal to her heart like that, with her eyes closed. And but she was having an incredible experience. 7 years old. We also have people that get on the bed with their pets, dogs, cats. They absolutely love the energy. Yeah. And when we have the products out, the pendants, and we're at someone's home or out at a booth or something, they'll be putting their noses all over the crystals and wanting to be a part of it. Yeah, they enjoy it too.
True. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
fascinating.
Yeah, so the people are really having an experience. And what we're finding too, when we're checking their frequency before and afterwards, and this is just with 10 minutes on the bed, okay? It doesn't need much more than that. People can do more after they've been on it for the first time, maybe for 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. But the first time, we recommend a nice, gentle introduction to the beings and to the bed, and just to make sure that whatever is being released isn't too harsh on them. It's gentle and soft and easy, because sometimes it can be a really a great amount of energy being released, negative energy from the body, and a lot of shaking and gyrating going on in that sense. But we're always there to help them and to monitor them and watch them go through this transition, right? And so it's amazing to see that they're actually going anywhere from 800 hertz to 2000 hertz in 10 minutes when they're on the bed. Some people are going up to 3,000-4,000 hertz in 10 minutes on the bed. And once they hit these plateaus, it's permanent, because, well, even yourself, Ismael, right? You were up there probably over 20 now, with being with the crystal all the time, 20,000 hertz.
Yeah.
Right? And as we get higher and higher, more things open up to us, more of the multi-dimensional realms, the different dimensions, and such. We're communicating with these Trintinians who are from the 7th dimension. We were fortunate enough to be introduced one night when we were stargazing in Sedona. We had some crafts flying over top of us, and then of course we have the capacity. I mentioned to you before that we can go up to the ships, right? Astral travel and say hello to them and visit them. And these beings were actually the 9th dimensional aspects of the Trintinians. The Trintinians that we work with are 7th dimensional beings that are helping us and assisting us. And what's beautiful about them is you don't hear of Pleiadians walking around with you, or Sirians walking around with you all the time, guiding you and helping you if you have a piece of something. As per with these crystals, the Trintinians are by your side. They're watching you. They're guiding you. It's like an extra ascended master helping you all the time, everywhere you're going, with the synchronicities, helping you with the right choices, moving you in the right direction, bringing the right people to you. These crystals are amazing. We could be doing an event, and they will go out and find who they're supposed to be with and go with. Right?
Yes.
There's just.
Yes. Sometimes I can telepathically communicate with the Trintinians as well. And so we're doing these events sometimes, for example, with like a crystal like this will be in front of me. And it will tell me, I've got my companion. I'm going to my companion today. And I don't do anything to influence that. Sure enough, somebody will walk up and be like, this is the one. I know this is going home with me today. I'm like, well, actually, you're right, but I don't know who chose who first, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
And we also noticed that there's a collective grid that's happening with wherever the crystals are going. And with that said, we have different products that we have been, I don't know, it's been expanding and evolving. So one of the ways that we're working with the crystals is with the powder form of this, or the dust form of this. And we've combined it with orgonite to make it, one, more affordable for people, but also another way to utilize it with orgonite as a powerful EMF protector. And I bring that up because we're noticing the crystals are creating a grid around the world everywhere they go. So sometimes it's also about the place of where they want to go to, and they want to be in that area to help to clear the area. And so with that said, they're making this grid and assisting with the raising of frequency. So we're like right here, for example, I have a coaster with me. It's an orgonite coaster that you can put a drink on, per se. It's EMF protecting with the orgonite, but it's also got the Palonette in it. So this coming into your home will raise the frequency and clear the area of your home. And we have these in different sizes. Some people are creating a grid around their home. So for example, here's a large one. This one will cover a few thousand feet. How many thousand feet?
Yeah, it'll go outside your house and continue to activate all things that are living and continue to expand. And so it's, going out to your neighbors, and it's going out to your community and your neighborhood. And the results are amazing what's coming back. We had one lady last week who picked up 4 of these little coasters, Ismael, and she said, I put one in each corner of the house. And she came back to our event the next night.
Oh my gosh, that's
she had
right.
4 of these.
Yeah.
And she says, oh my God, I can't believe it. I came in here at 600 hertz, and now my house and my body is vibing at 30,000 hertz. This is unheard of,
Yeah.
And the frequencies are not dropping; they're just maintaining, right?
And her demeanor, her eyes are sparkling like jewels. I mean, she just looked like a sparkling little angel. You could see the energy frequency. It was just amazing on her. That was about, 3 weeks ago, I think now? Yeah. So I bring that up because of the grid that it's creating. So that's one thing why we launched making this type of a product. We also launched another product, since we're talking about products with orgonite, our keychains. This is a new thing that we've got coming out right now. And the keychains are great for people who want to have the crystalline consciousness in their aura field and around them, but aren't always into wearing the product as well.
So they help people to get out there. The real thing is, and the main thing is to help with raising consciousness.
Right.
And this is where we get into these different levels of, okay, why do we go so high? What changes when we hit different layers and different levels?
Yeah, and so we're going off of feedback. So one thing I want to put out there to anybody that might be listening that already has one of these or wants to get one of them, I'm waiting to get feedback for someone to have this in their car, underneath their seat, driving around, clearing and raising frequency with their cars are going around, right? That's another way to do it. But we haven't had anybody do that one yet.
Interesting. Now, how are you guys able to test, analyze the frequency and see which frequency people are at?
Well, typically we do this through kinesiology, doing muscle testing, right? So there's a number of different ways, and of course, chiropractors use it, naturopaths use it to testing different products if it vibrates with your body, and of course, you can test it with frequencies. And so I like to do it a very simple technique. I just do a ring testing. If it's strong, it holds, and if it hits the maximum, then it breaks through. So for example, I can pick up on your frequency with your permission tonight. We can see where you're at if you'd like to do that. Because we can do this from anywhere around. She just tuned in.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
that jolt just meant that I expanded my aura over to you when he was just talking about it. So what we do to check frequency, usually with the person's permission, we'll expand our aura field over to the individual, and then we will muscle test instead of actually physically touching the person.
Yeah. So there is no space where we go. So we've connected with you. So now we're just tuning into the frequencies. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to starting at thousands, because you're well beyond 1,000. We got 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22,110 and 10, 22,110 hertz. Now, last time we were talking, you were at 19 something, I believe, right?
Mhm.
So just by wearing your crystal for a while, it's brought you up over 2,000, 3,000 hertz.
It's amplifying everything you're doing and assisting you with keeping your field clear as possible with the work that you're doing, you know?
Yeah. And so what we're finding is the first year that people had them for a year, their frequency were raising maybe a maximum of 2,000 hertz in 1 year. Now people are raising crazy numbers. Like you're gone up 3,000 hertz here in a couple months, 3 months since you got these crystals in your world, right? In your realm. Other people are going up equally as fast, 3,000, 5,000 hertz. And so what does that mean to us as a humanity, as a race, as a population, as we're changing the frequencies of everything around us? And we're not just talking humanity, we're talking trees, plants, animals, crystals, anything that has consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking at these different layers of it rising higher and higher. Because the crystals, the beings themselves are consciously connected through these crystals, they took a jump up to 15,000 hertz on and around the same day we did the timeline change. Now, that begs to ask the question, did the timeline change because it was the crystals, or was there a collaboration with Source, or how was that affecting with other things out there to bring the shift with a higher frequency timeline consciousness?
That is a great question. I have to say that I feel that there isn't one reason for anything. There's multi reasons for everything. Just a moment, just to look at that we're having a conversation here, all the things that go into place just to move my hands, everything is multidimensional and there's many reasons for the one. So was it because it's a big part of it maybe, but there's also multi factors happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think, Ishmael?
I think you guys are right. It's all of the above. I think it's a collaboration and a combination of many different things that are kind of working together. At the center of it all, it's all being directed by Prime Creator Source, who has the say when it comes to whatever reality unfolds. And you're absolutely right. We definitely have been, experiencing some sort of a timeline shift since April, I would say, April of this year, ever since the eclipse. And it is believed that at the maximum sometime in April or May of next year, we will be experiencing a completion in the bifurcation of timelines. So my suggestion to everybody is keep your vibration high, but keep your vibration as high as possible. Do whatever it takes to raise your frequency, because the planet is raising in frequency. The planet is going to be ascending no matter what. So, depending on where you're vibrating, that's going to determine which layer of the new Earth you end up in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we're watching the Schumann resonances too. The changes and the fluctuations that are going on have been absolutely crazy the last while.
That and the solar flares. Wow.
Yeah. Even the big black spot that was in the sun, I think it's facing us now as of 2 days ago. So the next couple of days, prepare to sleep, prepare to undergo Ascension symptoms. I don't know how it's going to hit people. Everyone's different, but just make sure you guys are drinking a lot of water,
right?
Make sure you're eating the right food, and just make sure you guys are, more importantly, grounded.
Right.
Now, the Trintinians, they're a seventh dimensional and people, right? They're seventh dimensional beings. And you mentioned that they also have a ninth dimensional future self.
That's right. Yeah, we've been communicating with them very briefly over the last couple months. It's almost kind of like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind scenario where we have these light things going on. First time we encountered them was at the spring equinox. We were doing an outside ceremony, and we actually communicated with them, and they said that they were here to observe and witness the joy of what was happening on the planet with the use of the crystals and getting them out to the people and helping raise frequencies. And they just wanted to be part of our ceremony. It was just absolutely amazing, right? And the second time we connected with them was just a few weeks ago in Sedona and Cottonwood. Actually, we're outside again, and in our friend's yard where we stay when we go there, she had eight solar lights in her backyard in a circle, spaced equidistance apart.
Mhm.
And as we're in the backyard taking pictures and filming up into the sky, we have a ring of 8 craft in the same formation of these lights that we have on the ground that are reflecting back to us. That they're connecting with us and they're just giving us an image, just saying, "Hey, we're here. We see what you're doing, and we just want to say hello and just very friendly. We like what you're doing, and just keep on getting those frequencies out there, helping humanity."
I have to have that experience. So this was about 2 weeks ago in Cottonwood, Arizona, at our friend's house, and so she was guided to put these lights on the ground in a circle, as he was talking about, and then but they were already there for a couple of days, and her and I were outside at night, and I took my phone, and we were looking up in the sky, and I've got video footage of these ships flying around, and they're zipping around super fast, and then I took more than one picture, and so I really saw one or two of them doing this whole zip, 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 zip kind of thing. They're moving so fast. And I took multiple pictures just to take them to see what I could get. And then when I got one picture, that's what I was talking about. I never actually saw it we never saw it with our eyes that they made a circle and that there were 8 of them. But in the picture, it showed up that way. And they're white craft with like little dots going around them, like white little dots, some of them in a little bit of a triangle form, some of them in a circular form, but they all made like a circle. And it was like, wow, it seemed to be, they were reflecting, obviously.
Well, and what was interesting too is because the lights on the ground were accumulation of LED lights in a circle. So you might have maybe 50 lights shooting upwards from this disc, right? And the crafts were mimicking that, shooting downwards, a whole bunch of lights in a circle as well, giving it the exact mirror effect of what we were creating.
And another interesting phenomenon from that evening, I'm not a photographer. I don't know a lot about photography. Maybe who's somebody who knows those things, but as I took multiple pictures, the moonlight was shining. And some of the pictures came out black, for the sky to be black with stars and the ships. And then in the very next pictures, like sporadic, you would see the sky with the aurora colors, the beautiful violets and blues and some hues of pink. And then click, click, and then it would be black and click, click. And then so I've got all these multiple pictures of that. But with the naked eye, you couldn't see the different colors in the sky. And then there was a violet halo going around the moon as well.
Just some interesting connection with these beings. And so, we were thinking, from the people who saw the show last time, it might be nice for us to maybe do a little guidance on how to connect with these beings. If you're up to that, we can do a little explanation how that works and how we can call them in. And
yeah, we can do that. Also, if there's time to have, we're also open to answering any questions that anybody might have too as well.
Yeah, feel free and pick questions from the chat if you guys could see it. Somebody was asking, where do I get a crystal? I would say your website, and your website is in the description.
So they can go to the website, lovemycrystals.com, and they can take a look there. And the different types of crystals and pendants and organite pieces that we have. So there's lots of different things that they can look at.
Yeah, I'm not able to see questions myself. I'm new to how this works. So, but yeah.
But what we'd like to do is we would definitely like to just give an example of how simple it is actually to connect with these beings.
Sure.
Not everybody is visual or has a good imagination. Some people might be auditory or kinesthetic, and so they may have a little bit more difficult time connecting with them this way. But it's very simple process is what we do to connect with them. And we like to use the pyramids in Egypt, the big one at Giza. And so what we do, and I think we did this with you before too, is we connected with them. But correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember if we actually did it or not. But so for the audience, if you'd like to follow along, just close your eyes and sit back and just take a few deep breaths. And Ismael, we're going to do this together,
Okay.
Onya, and we're going to meet into the pyramid at Giza. So just imagine yourself standing outside the Giza pyramid in Egypt in the sand, and you have your pyramid in front of you, and it's beautiful golden shimmering color, transparent, translucent. And you're just going to raise your arms up and you're going to walk through the wall to the inside. Inside the pyramid is a beautiful blue-white plasma energy. And the pyramids are used for many different things. They're used for communication, intergalactic, multidimensional, used for healing. We utilize it for many different things. And so in this case, we're going to utilize it to call in the Trintinians to come and communicate with us. So for all of you who are following along, just come inside the pyramid. Just, if you can see us, we're already inside, Onya and myself. There's Ismael. We're just connected with you there.
And I can feel and sense a lot of beings are coming in right now. Let's call in Mother, Father, God.
We're calling the archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, and Saint Germain. We'd like to call in all these beings for protection and to bear witness for what we're doing. We like to work with them in our work that we do as well outside of the crystals. And we can talk a little bit more about that afterwards. But right now, just be in that space and just enjoy the energy of the light blue plasma of creation. And we're going to utilize light language. And we're going to call in the Trintinian beings who are with us today, who would like to express and share with us today.
And we're also going to use simple English too. So this is how those who don't speak light language, you can simply say, I'm calling in or asking the Trintinians to please come in to the pyramid to have a conversation with me, please.
Yeah. And
Go ahead and light language.
And if you do have a crystal, you just ask the Trintinian who is connected to your crystal to come into the pyramid so I may connect with you.
Yeah.
And so just calling them in, they're already starting to come in. And so Ishmael, working with you so that others can see how simple this is, are you seeing the beings coming in there with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
How many do you sense, see, or feel?
I sense about 7 of them.
So interesting. I was sensing initially 6 that are like in a circle, and they're standing looking out at the crowd that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like a circle format around there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to ask, is there a spokesperson of the Trintinians who would like to come forward and express and share with us, words of love, of light, of hope, of peace, of anything that we can pick up on as a collective today, as we're all here in the pyramid with them at this moment? Okay, so there's one coming forward there. And I don't know if you're picking up, we'll start with you, Ismael, if you're picking up anything on this.
Yeah, he's the one sitting at the center. The 6 are surrounding him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was getting.
He's pretty much the chief elder of the Trintinian Council of Elders. And okay, so I'm going to just try to see if I could explain what he's telling me telepathically.
Okay.
He's saying that that this earth is sacred, that there is a reason why there are you could say multiple, I just want to say multiple beings here at this time, and which are all positive, And they're also saying that we don't really have to worry about anything at this point. That okay, so what they're showing me visually, because I can't translate this into 3D language. It's
Right.
very hard to communicate and telepathically and then translate it into, because I see images. I see images. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing the earth being held in the palm of God. And what I also see is a huge white dove over the earth that is surrounding the earth with just amazing white light. Oh, I'm also seeing that the earth is about to undergo a split, which is the bifurcation. And just to be ready for that, bifurcation.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm also getting, as you said, that they're showing that there's a shedding of the old for the new to come in. So they're saying do not, again, hard to translate, but I'll just say do not be in fear or angst or any kind of lower energy as the shedding occurs. It's simply a natural process that is happening in this, what you might perceive as a timeline split or merge. It's releasing the old energies, and releasing the old energies, they may feel or be a bit uncomfortable at times on the earth itself and your environment is what they're showing. But this is part of the ascension process, and the same way that that we understand a butterfly will emerge out of its cocoon, so will this new earth, and so will humanity and humanity's consciousness as well. Yes.
Right. Exactly. So I'm just going to express in language that they understand of light, and we'll see what he has to reply back in. Ushana na tarono umpai kia kuna ashiti nene, ikia kuna kututi tudunu unatoya, unatorone ne dia ku utu ushna nanata, atrakto tudunu unanane, ikia kuntu ushate tuntanata. Ita. And are you getting any feedback from that at all, Ishmael? Start with you.
They're showing me a staff. I guess it's a metaphor for the shepherd. Okay. Now they're showing me that there's going to be. Oh, I see. Okay, so what they're telling me is that when the ascension takes place, that the star seeds and the chosen ones are going to be the new caregivers of this planet. Oh, okay. All right. So they're telling me that the caregivers of this planet have been the dolphins and the whales, who have been sharing that function with other beings. But when the ascension takes place, that responsibility of being stewards and caregivers of this planet is going to rely solely on us. And so it's like I'm seeing they're passing a torch and they're handing it over to me. And they're saying, all right, with this torch, help use the light, the flame on this torch to help illuminate the light of the others. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to pass this torch around or use the flame of this torch to help illuminate everyone else's torch at this time.
Beautiful. So all of you out there who are with us, you're in the pyramid, just see yourself with a torch, and we're taking the light. And we're going to take this to our families, our communities, wherever we are in the world. And we're going to bring that light to shine and burn away any darkness, any fear, any heavy energies, anything that is holding us back. And as ambassadors, Anya and myself, for the Trintinians, bringing them forward consciously, collectively to the planet, to Earth. It gives us great honor and privilege to assist at this time with the ongoing ascension for all of humanity, for Mother Earth, and expanding beyond into our universe, because the ripple effects are so great, as they have expressed, that we are such a sacred place, this planet, as humans. Ishanana darano unkwe kia kuna untaritina na. Ashanana de torano unkwe kita uhatanana ta. And so all of you who have come today have also been chosen in a sense to come and carry the light and to bring this forward to your communities, your family, with love and joy and just completion.
And just may I add, where you heard the call or you made that decision consciously or unconsciously before you even incarnated to be a part of this ascension time. And I just also, with so much gratitude to all the beings that are in the pyramid and all the beings that are around and are assisting right now in so many ways. So much gratitude for all the intentions and works and the effects that are taking place right now and that have been in the past and in the present and the future. Because remember, there is no time. It is all happening right now. But I do say with much gratitude that that we are assisting with this process right now, and so grateful for everyone else who is assisting in this process right now. The planet is at a pivotal point in its process, and where it is located in the cosmic consciousness in the cosmic world is very, very vital to the structure of this particular universe, that's inside of this metaverse and multiverse, if you will. It's all one structure that is all connected, and where the planet is located is very, very important, and it has an effect on everything around it, and it trickles out to everything else around it in the cosmos, and it goes back and forth. And so knowing that, and also they're also showing me to please remember as individuals, your thoughts not only create the reality or affect the reality, they assimilate the reality. It goes both ways. So please remember your thoughts and how powerful your thoughts are in being supportive to this process.
And so we're going to thank the Trintinians for coming forward today. And for those of you who have a crystal or would like to, perhaps obtain one, again, you can take a look at the website, lovemycrystals.com. And of course, we're available to answer questions. Text usually is the best way to do it. So
thank everybody.
Yeah, we're just going to thank everybody for coming forward today into the pyramid. And we thank Mother, Father, God, the archangels, Saint Germain, the Trintinians.
Yes, thank you.
Lovely, beautiful beings of light. Thank you for being with us, for showing your love and your presence, and to work with people individually and collectively. We're so ever grateful and in deep gratitude for that which you have brought to the planet, and now have been bringing it forward into the limelight, where people can now comprehend and understand that you are here to help and assist, and that you do exist, and that you have this beautiful love, this beautiful frequency to help all of us at this time.
Yeah. So when everyone's ready, they can step out of the pyramid. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and just open up your eyes and just come back to your vessels gently.
I have to jokingly say, a lot of people ask, well, when are they going to come? When's the ship going to come and assist us? Well, the ship is here in the crystalline form, and the Trintinians are here to assist. This is one of many. There's many ways. This is one very powerful tool for ascension right now, to connect with the Trintinians and to connect with this crystalline consciousness.
Beautiful. Mary Jane said that she felt it in her heart chakra.
Yes, beautiful. Does anybody else have any questions that maybe we can answer at the end of this right now? Yeah.
At this time, anyways.
Sure, feel free, guys. If you guys see any questions that you want to address.
I don't know how to access the. We don't see on ours how you.
Is it going fast or?
They're just not there from our end.
Oh, okay. How? Let me see. How can I share the chat with you guys? Can you see it now? No, huh? I guess I could always pick a question since you guys can't see it.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions? Does anybody have questions?
Well, the other thing too, Ishmael, is we were thinking is we have some connections with some people out your way, and in creating, maybe we can co-create an event, an Ascension event for people to come and join us and be with the crystals and experience the crystals, something like that, so we can help the people out in California and wherever.
Yeah, if there's anybody that's interested or feels called to do wants to learn more about how to do a private, either at your home or at your office or your location of choice, Ascension bed gathering, feel free to email us too at lovemycrystals with a Z at gmail.com. Just putting that out there too. We can do one with you, Ishmael, as well, but we can also just put that out to the public right now. We can do that as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll definitely put your link in case anybody wants to take you up on that in the description, everyone. That's where you'll be able to access Mark and Onya.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, we've got a film producer up in just about an hour north of where you are, who's
Hollywood.
In Hollywood, interested in filming an event and getting to meet you as well.
Yes.
And putting something together with one of his groups that he funds in different organizations and such.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps we can talk later about that for collaboration, which would be nice.
Sure. Yeah. I'm always open to new things. Why not?
Right?
Fun.
Some
Yeah.
fun. Definitely.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any questions at this time.
That's okay. So let's just move forward with a little bit of what brought us here. How is it that we were able to even partake and be connected with the Trintinians and communication? Just a little bit of a background and some of the things that we've been doing. As we've said earlier, we both do paranormal investigations individually, and once we came together 4 years ago for me, I was involved with MUFON up in Canada, the Mutual UFO Network, as a special consultant. And it was where I met the head guy in Canada at one of the conventions up there. And interestingly enough, they were having problems filling the halls for people to come in to listen to the speakers. And so at the time I went up there, and at times I have the ability to see multidimensional beings and portals and different things like this. Just a gift which I had for a long time. And it was interesting to see that in the hall where the speakers were, that there was portals. There was 3 portals on each side of the room, the lecture hall. And believe it or not, there was these little 4 or 5 foot grays were coming through there, and energetically were scaring the people. They wouldn't come into the room for whatever reason. They weren't feeling it, or there was just something that was keeping them out of the room. And so when I went in there and I saw this, I was able to connect with them in such a way and communicate with them and to say, hey, look at this, you guys, this is just not going to happen. You're not going to stop, people from talking and sharing about extraterrestrials and people learning about what's going on. And so I was able to get them to go back through their portals and utilizing light language to close the portals and to shut them down. And of course, as soon as that happened, the next speaker who came up, lo and behold, people started coming into the lecture halls, and they continued to have great success after that. So the head guy from MUFON came to me and he says, is this for real, what you just did there, what you're sharing with me? I say, yeah, absolutely. He says, well, MUFON is based on science and facts. And what you're telling me is really multidimensional stuff. And, we can't see it. We can't prove it. But we're going to have you work with us as a special consultant, because I have the capacity to communicate with beings from many different planetary systems in their language, utilizing light language, right? So people who were abducted, I would work with the abductees, Ishmael, and I would be able to call forward the extraterrestrials that abducted these people. And believe it or not, the technique that I utilized was very simple. It was just the pyramid. I would call them into the pyramid and they would show up. We'd have a conversation with them there and we'd find out what was going on, why they abducted them. But the one thing I did different was I would create a golden cage in the corner and I would call these beings into the golden cage so as not to harm myself or anybody else who was with me throughout this process that we were doing. And we were able to ask questions, comprehend, see why they were coming here to take these beings and abducting them. 95% of the time it was a contract that these beings agreed to be taken on board these ships so that they could be tested, and more so for understanding of the human species for their own well-being of their home planet and helping assisting their planet to live or survive or something like that. And so hence began the start of doing a lot of paranormal investigations, calling in a lot of extraterrestrials, being able to communicate with them, and so on and so forth. So it's been quite an interesting journey in that sense, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to share too a little bit of my background. Is that I taught people for about 10 years, about a decade, with 100% success rate on how to connect with their guides and channel their guides, either indirectly or directly. I did that for a while, and then I'm also a born intuitive, and I bring forward messages to people, and I do guided healing meditations. When Mark and I came together, we combined our healing work into something that we call the Accelerated Ascension program. So we have a plethora of gifts that we use. One of the biggest things that we do, though, in this Ascension program is that we lead people on a guided meditation where you speak on behalf of your heart. And when an individual connects and speaks on behalf of your heart is the doorway or the gateway to anything in the cosmos, universe, timelines, period. There's actually direct connection to God consciousness right through your heart. And so this is where we take people on a journey, connecting with their heart and talking on behalf of their heart to find the core issues and core problems of things that may be holding them back from ascending, from getting ahead, from breaking free, from having the health and the peace of mind and things that they would like to have. And so when you do this, it cuts right to the chase. And with our different abilities and gifts, so to speak, we help the client to clear away these things that are not theirs. And I'd say in general that this is I think almost everybody online would probably agree that the Ascension path is about releasing things or removing things that are not yours. And a lot of those go back to belief systems. Some of them, people call them karma, energies, frequencies. There's different paths. There's different ways to do this by meditating, different types of modalities and whatnot. And this is what our modality still is under our services on our website. You can see that we do these things currently right now. We do work with clients right now. The crystals and the Trintinians was a beautiful addition to what we're doing and assisting and getting people to raise their frequencies without having to do so much work. I believe right now that the entire planet and humanity is accelerating at a very fast rate, and it's kind of like a snowball. It's just going faster and faster and faster and faster. And so there's many paths and many ways, but I believe that there are different tools and different things that work for certain individuals and assist us on this path. So I just want to say that, you know, I think both Mark and I feel very grateful to be a part of the Ascension, to be a part of this, and that it's not the only way, but it is a great way, and it's a great assistant to work with the crystals and to work with the Trintinians. Or you could work doing different modalities such as meditation or so forth, whatever is good for you as well. Star seeds, crystal children, what I believe, indigos, and so forth, these terms, light workers are these and different types of genres of what we give a name to an individual who is basically has an awakening to a certain degree already intact, or they don't have dark or lower energies attached to them from different ways. But when you have your DNA strands all intact and all working perfectly, this is when you hit a point of becoming an ascended being, or that high point, the highest point of ascension. When we have 3 of our DNA strands intact 100%, we're able to access and be aware of 3 dimensions, third dimensions. And we have 4 of them, fourth dimensions. We're able to access fourth dimensions. Lots of indigo star seeds examples, they already have 6 of their DNA all clear and intact out of the 12, 24, or 48 strands that they hold. And because they have those 6 strands that are perfectly intact, they don't have any dark genre in different dimensions attached to it, and they're able to go in and out of timelines and dimensions and be much more aware than the average 3D person, so to speak. And so we're like all on the same path of awakening, and all attempting to go back to our original divine blueprint. The original divine blueprint is having, in the physical sense, all of your DNA intact, whether it be 12 strands, 24, or 48, whatever your original is, and then ascending out of here in your crystalline light body, so to speak. Again, people call that different things, but when you do that, you're not taking, but you're integrating this physical sense along with it. This conscious physical sense along with it is how I see that. And yeah, we're grateful to be a part of that. I am able to get can you see the streamlines going through? We are able to get that. Yeah. So there are some people that have questions and comments, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was somebody earlier who asked if you can drink this crystal solution. I would just say to them is if you were to have a Palonette power plate, one of these organized power plates, and put your glass on it for a couple minutes, then you have it charged and you drink that. Probably a lot safer than ingesting crystal or powder.
We do have a homeopathic spray that we have on our website. We don't suggest drinking it, but you can spray it in your auric field, and it does clear your aura field and raise your frequency from the spray. It's homeopathic, meaning that it has the imprint of the crystalline consciousness in the water.
Yeah, definitely. And so with a lot of these different crystals and just handling them, they also have been known to take on dark energies, or if there's some dark entity or something around the person, it actually absorbs it into the crystal. So we have seen some people's crystals turn into a darker color just because it's taking on these lower frequency energies, and it's actually protecting the person who is wearing the crystal. So it's not affecting the person, but the Trintinian being through the crystal is taking a hit for that person.
Or another way to say it is the crystalline consciousness is transmuting that energy for them, and so making it easier for the individual not have to go through the process. So yeah, that does happen occasionally, where we will get feedback about a crystal turning really dark in a very short period of time. And then we find out that a little bit more of the story. Sometimes somebody will have had a dark encounter, so to say, with a person or being, or they'll tell us about it, or they are in an area. Like I know one lady actually was like in a prison for a bit, and the prison has a lot of lower energy in the prison to contend with, for example, and her crystal turned dark with that experience. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting. Wow. Definitely. So the other thing too, which could be interesting, Ismael, is we do get a gathering of some sort down your way in the next months to come. We could obviously we'll do the crystal blessings, and we'll do the ascension bed there. But something that we've spoken about on the side is we could take a group of people through a guided meditation, kind of like we did tonight, up to one of our ships, and we can go and take a little
up to one of their ships.
The Trintinians.
Yeah.
That could be fun too.
Yeah, let me know. Give me a date so I don't schedule anything around that day.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Know ahead of time.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely something like that. Well, we're looking into September, but once we get some dates, we'll let you know, because we're all busy at this time right now, and already have things booked and lined up moving forward. But most definitely.
One thing that's coming, a little message is coming forward about our consciousness rising, I'm kind of noticing is that, and I think you are too, Ishmael, just a little feedback from you talking about how busy you are. Busy is what we're experiencing is an understatement. I mean, just to let you guys know, we were in Philadelphia and New Jersey yesterday, and Delaware yesterday. Today we're in Vegas. Tomorrow we're in Phoenix. In a couple days after that, we're in Sedona. Then we're in Big Bear. We're doing an Ascension bed gathering in Big Bear next weekend. So the busyness is wow. We're noticing that working with the crystals and working with people, it's just getting busier and busier and busier. You know, I think that as we rise in frequency, that's part of the thing is that, you know, when an ascended master is able to be in a million places at once and communicate with, you know, and do so many things at once. No, they're not in their physical body, they're in their light body. But I do believe that as our lives get busier, us light workers and starseeds and so forth, we are working our physical body up to that point of our light body merging and being able to burst and be in, you know, maybe 1,000 or 1,000,000 places at once. You know, we are living, from what I understand, something like 1,732 lives right now in the here and now, and becoming aware of that. So I think all this busyness is getting us to that. And then there's people who aren't so busy, who are going the other direction, and they're just becoming super calm inside, and they become into a natural meditative state, like a yogi who's on a mountaintop, but they're not the yogi on the mountaintop. It's just that they're in their home or their place in space, and they're just stopped. Everything's stopped. But their consciousness is going out in all these different directions. Again, not in the physical, but in their consciousness, it's like all kinds of things happening at once. So it's definitely an ascension sign.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow,
So,
that was so beautiful. Thank you.
yeah. So I see somebody's asking about the Ascension bed. Typically what we charge for them when we do the events is $50 for 10 minutes. It's very, very minimal for what you get and what you experience. Like, you cannot get that kind of ascension. Would take lifetimes meditating on a mountaintop to achieve those frequencies and clearings and that. And so we like to get it out to people, as many people as we can, for as reasonable cost as we can.
Yeah.
You know, just covering our costs or traveling around and doing things.
I would say that is the average, that is the typical. We don't have a standard all the way around for most individuals or groups. It just depends on how far we have to travel. We attempt to make it reasonable. Sometimes it's completely not free to get on the bed, but free to do the event and free to hear the discourse. But like, for example, in Big Bear, the event we're doing, it's going to be $10 to attend. And then if you'd like to get on the bed, it's $50. So it kind of varies, because we're doing one in Northern California, which is a bit more.
Okay.
So yeah, so we want to make it reasonable and as affordable as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Is there anything else you guys want to share before we end the live?
Well, we can let the people know that the crystals themselves, because of their capacity, what they can do, how they raise your frequency, how they act as guides and help you move forward, and they're probably the highest frequency crystal on the planet. We found a mid-price point that would work for most people, comparable to Moldavite, which is anywhere from $50 to $130 a gram. So we charge $100 per gram for these crystals. Just so people out there know what it is. The Palonette power plates, you know, they're 3 different sizes, 111, 222, and 333. The small one has 1 shard of Palonette plus some dust. The middle size has 2 shards of Palonette plus the dust, and the large one has 3 shards of Palonette plus the Palonette dust in them. And so, yes, they ramp up higher. They have more frequencies the larger you have. And again, it just all depends what you like to use it for. Some people like to put it under your bed or in the corner of the house or outside. And then, of course, we have pendants and raw crystals, and it's all on the website again. You know, Love My Crystals with a Z.com. Very simple. You can check it out. And, if there's any questions, we'll get back with texting. We're pretty good at that kind of stuff.
And yeah, and I encourage, if you'd like to do a little research, under the About Us videos tab, there should be a video there with Duane Olinger speaking at a UFO conference. He's giving the backstory on that video about his relationship with General Jeremiah of the Galactic Federation. So if you really want to go down the rabbit hole and understand more about how we know where the crystals come from, what they do, how they're not just a simple piece of, selenite or crystal found somewhere, I suggest going to that video and that Duane has posted, because they're the ones who did the testing to find out where this is at, where it came from. Duane also had a technology that measures your joules. Basically, you can see your auric field and you can see your energetic joules, and he showed it before and after with this technology of when you hold the crystal, and you can see that it fills in the holes of your auric field and makes it nice and solid. And then there should be another video there too with Ismael as well, where we give more background story about it all.
Yeah.
We are doing our best to get this out to the public and make it as affordable as possible. And we do understand that, people, that it can be pricey. That's why we blended it with the resin of the orgonite to make it more affordable on the powder format. And we do help people that are, in financial strats and do really need assistance. We will offer our own healing work to them if we can. And on different occasions, if we can help them out with a discounted price with the crystal, we will do that occasionally as well. And we're actually looking at connecting with this person we're talking about in Hollywood, at how we can get connected with organizations to help out. We're looking at homeless communities right now with a couple of investors who do work with that. So we're looking at broader ways to get this out to the public, to the people who can't reach it or afford it. So we're going from that end of the spectrum, and then we're also going to the other end of the spectrum, which I might just mention a little bit right now. We do have the John Ferris collection on our website, which is more of the high end for those who are in a whole nother caliber of with the financial, so to speak, and want something exotic. That's what he's wearing right here, is a John Ferris piece. And so these are for those individuals. So we're doing our best to reach people with and meet them with where they're at with the different products we have and the different abilities and things that we can do. And we're really grateful to be a part of this, and so thankful to be on your show and to know you, Ismael. I also just want to thank you, Ismael, for the work that you're doing and what you're bringing forward, and how you're affecting so many with everything that you're doing with these shows, with the words that you're speaking at the conferences, with the books that you're putting out. You're doing so much on so many levels, and I just want to let you know that I'm very appreciative to know you and to be a part of what you're doing as well.
Yes, I am definitely the same, appreciative and very grateful for your friendship, your brotherhood. And, as we both know, we go way back beyond this planet.
Oh, yeah. Soul family.
And so, just reconnecting again.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. And so we're here.
And likewise, guys. Likewise, Mark and Onya. Likewise. Appreciate the work you guys do as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're here to answer questions. People can reach out to us anytime. We'll do the best we can to get back to them in as a reasonable time.
Yes.
And definitely we'll talk more afterwards about connecting and putting something together. I think that would be good.
It'll be fun.
Be fun.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to it, guys. So we will talk soon, and may the God Force be with each and every single one of you.
Blessings, everyone.
Blessings, everybody. Ashnana taruno koikita undrakto turuno nanane ikiaku ushnanata. Eta.
Thank you for that blessing. Have a good night, guys.